My name is Khary. I'm from Queens, New York. My story really is about what it means to be gay and come out as a black gay guy, and really how friendship plays into that process. Me and who's currently my best friend, Gary, we both went to Cornell. We actually met in a nightclub called Octagon on 33rd Street. But again, it was one of those moments where you know the face from campus, but you'd never make the approach in a gay club. It just kind of seemed to expose yourself a little bit too much. But immediately upon getting back to school, there's that bond, that instant bond, like I've seen you out, I know what's going on with you, let's hook up and then let's be friends. In Black Greek culture on any college campus, there's this inclination to be competitive and kind of not fraternize with different groups, but we immediately had a connection, which was amazing. But you can tell, at school there was a lot of chatter going on about, well, these are an unlikely pair and how did these two become friends? And I always knew that I didn't really feel connected to other boys growing up, and it was that moment where it was like, this is what it's supposed to feel like. This is what having a friend or a brother is supposed to be about, and especially being black and being gay. We're all coming from different like families of different religious backgrounds and beliefs, and we're coming from different socioeconomic backgrounds, and a lot of us wound up having opportunities that put us in places that you wouldn't expect to see us. So, there's a discomfort not only with being black, but then you layer on the kind of weirdness of being gay, and it creates a bubble that's difficult to live inside of. There's this moment, I guess, and I would say most boys probably experience this, where you haven't quite resolved your sexuality yourself, right? You've not come to grips and said, oh, I'm actually gay, or can understand what that means. But people are talking about it, people are kind of inquiring about it, and you're kind of forced to make a decision as to what your stance is going to be. And what was great about this relationship was that it was a place that I could feel safe and say, you know what, I am gay, and I've got someone who can support and do that. But again, I think that there was this moment of getting caught up in, the fun of being gay and being young, but not realizing that there was a world asking, well, why? What's going on with you? Why are you detached? And that really was, those are our parents at the time. Like, well, what's going on? You're home every weekend, but we don't really see you. Where are you? There's this kind of cloud of mystery. New York City in the 90s was the bananas, the most vibrant, kind of time to be doing nightlife, at least for us. So I can remember, one Thursday night, and you're downstairs, this is the time, this is kind of, cell phones just came out. So cell phones weren't small and compact. They were pretty obnoxious things. So I can remember the phone ringing, and the question simply is, and I can tell the disco music's in the background, drag performances are going on, and you know how crazy and outrageous those can be. And the question is like, are you gay? And at that moment, I had to make a decision as to whether or not the answer was going to be, truthful, or if it was going to be, more lies. And at the time, I guess that's what it was. Is I was lying. In the end of the circumstance, the answer probably would have been no. But knowing that your best friend is there to support you, and the moment feels right, it allowed me to say yes, really, absolutely, and I'm okay with that. And whether you choose to support me right now at this very moment or not, there are people in my life, and specifically like my best friend at the time, who still is, to say it's okay and it's cool and let's do this and let's explore this and let's have fun and let's travel and get crazy and that whole moment. So really, the coming out process was a little bit joyful.